Hi everybody, welcome to a new episode of Quick Draw. Joining me today is our special guest, my sister, Sonic Dragon 26.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about Luigi's Mansion, and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, respectively. Or disrespectively. We'll find out. So, as everybody knows, Luigi's Mansion was the launch title, but we didn't know at the time. Because we weren't in the know, we were quite young. We were, how old were we? I know I was less than 10 years old when it came out. But we saw it at Kmart. I remember seeing it, you couldn't play the game, but they had a visual demo of it. And I remember thinking that Luigi looked really creepy in it. Flash forward probably a couple of years or so. We got the GameCube, but we didn't actually get this game until near the end, didn't we?
I believe so.
It was like...
Whenever it was like the player's choice
Yeah,
time.
it was only $20. The reason... I don't know, we just kind of forgot about it, or I did. I don't know. Whatever the reason, probably, I don't know what the reason was.
I have no idea.
But we got it, and we played it, and my sister played it a lot more than I did. I think I beat it like twice. I've beaten it twice, and you've beaten it enough times where you have like the best house, and then you played it again to get a better house.
Well, I found out there was a lot more to it than I thought of. I didn't know about, I can't remember what they're called. They're the blue spirits. I think they're called speedy spirits, or speedy ghost, and they give you a lot. Like each one gives you some type of jewel, sapphire, ruby, or emerald. And they're hidden in spots when it's dark. I don't know if it's I don't know if there's. Can we say spoilers?
Oh yeah, spoilers for like a game that came out before I was 10 years old.
I mean, it's not real big spoilers, but basically one time you lose the house, the mansion loses power, and there's only certain times you can get those guys. And the golden mice, I didn't know about the cheese. There's hidden cheese that if you examine them with your little Game Boy Horror, you get a golden mouse, and they also give you gems.
Yeah. I mean, I really like this game. I don't think we have it as a tradition, but we play it like every other year for Halloween, roughly.
Yes, it's short.
Yeah, it's funny because it took me forever to beat it the first time because I didn't know exactly what I was supposed to do. I didn't understand all of the.
We didn't bother with the booze because maybe when we were little we thought that we lost our chance and we didn't want to really hunt them down and such.
Yeah.
Even though it's clearly obvious if they're in the room, because your little Game Boy Horror will have a red blinking light telling you, hey, there's one in this room. I remember getting to the final door and I was pushed back because I didn't have enough booze.
Yeah. I still, I find it funny that this game was about, like, the only one that actually made you utilize the C-stick. I can't think of many other games on the GameCube that actually said you have to use the C-stick. It's a part of the game.
Well, there's two different modes also, which I just got accustomed to the standard one, so I don't know if one mode's better. I think one mode's like, what's it called? Stifling?
Oh, strafe, like you're straight forever.
Yeah, which I tried the other mode once and I didn't like it because I didn't really want to relearn the controls again.
Yeah.
But it's not a game that you can easily just pick up. You have to be willing, of course, to me, all games, so I say you have to be willing to learn it.
Yeah. Well, I know your favorite character from the game is Madam What's-Her-Face.
Yeah. Well, her name is actually, I guess, a pun.
Oh, I wish I could remember what her name was. I don't know.
I'm not too sure. I can see if I can look that up, I guess.
I know I couldn't probably give you a name for... I know when I was a kid, I remembered liking... What's her name, Maria? The piano girl? Melody. She looks like Maria from Sonic the Hedgehog, the Sonic Adventure 2. That one as a kid, she was my favorite. I mean, I really enjoyed how each one, like, it was a family of ghosts, but they were paintings. I don't know.
Madame Clairvoyant.
Oh, like clairvoyance. I get you. Yeah. I mean, it was funny because I remember when we were kids and my sister had said that was her favorite. I was like, oh, why? She's not even that interesting. You're like, because she's the only one that's not evil.
Yeah. Well, she's not the. Even though if she does fight you, I feel like she doesn't. It's not really that big of a fight.
No. I mean, Melody out of nowhere just decides to kill you. She's like, can you guess what song I'm playing? Plays Mario song. It's a Mario song. Indeed, now die! No. I remember the butler was the hardest one for me as a kid. I don't exactly remember why. I remember that was always the part I got stuck. Because I didn't know how to deal with him.
Which one?
The butler. Like, you have to put out his candles.
Light his candles. Yeah, it's weird that you're arguing at different elementals. Like, and there's little elemental ghosts. They're cute, but it was kind of weird. I've always hated going down the hallways.
Oh, with the, like, zero ghosts?
Those ghosters. They're just annoying. And they just respawn after you just leave and come back. And it's like, I don't like them. The one ghost that terrified me was the secret ghost. That little girl, Soupy.
Soupy?
Yeah. She hang upside down.
Oh.
Her bedroom, she's like, basically the only one is to activate the boss battle is to make her bed wet.
Oh, yeah.
For her, like,
I remember that.
Either wetting the bed or just the fact that it's uncomfortable laying in wet. So, I didn't like it. And the toy soldiers, I hated those guys too.
I remember,
But Soupy's the one that actually scared me as a kid, especially because for the longest time I was missing portraits and it was driving me crazy. And she and, did you know you could skip the fat guy?
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
He's like the easiest one.
He's not required. You can skip him.
He always seemed so easy. I just went ahead and did him every time.
I don't know if he's that easy, but yeah.
I always found him. I found him easier than the guy who worked out, who punched weights.
Did you see her last name, Melodies?
Pianimisia. It's, oh my god. You know what's horrible? I was a musician, and I think it's supposed to be like, it's supposed to be like a play on words for, to play softly, but I've never actually, P-N-I-S-S-I-M-A.
Okay.
Let's not make everyone who's ever known me in band sit there and go, wow. It's been a while. I don't remember. So I guess that's about sums up, I would say, our thoughts on the first game. You said it, Savannah. I mean, it was interesting that you were saving your brother. And I liked the last cutscene. It was cute.
That was different. It was kind of confusing at first because I kept thinking for the longest time that these ghosts that we were after were not just paintings. I thought they were real people.
Yeah, to this day, I refuse to accept anything else. They are people. They were once alive and now they are dead.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, the nanny, the nanny killed that one lady who was in the shower by freezing her to death.
Yeah, I mean, it's really creepy and messed up when you get into it.
Who's your favorite standard ghost?
Oh, I remember for some weird reason. Oh man, I don't know why. I remember as a kid, I always liked the design of the ones that grabbed you, even though they were really frustrating and I kind of hated dealing with them.
You remember the noise they made?
Oh, vaguely.
When you started to like.
Oh yeah, that's probably why I also liked them. Well, there were Shy Guys. There were Shy Guy ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all we have to say about those guys.
I mean, Those guys are just kind of annoying because you have to take their mask off and then you can suck them.
Least favorite is the stupid banana one.
Yeah.
I hate that guy.
I don't know. Between him and the big blue guy.
Oh, who isn't he the one that stomps on the ground?
Yeah,
slams the ground.
He slams the ground. Because a lot of the areas you're in, it's kind of small because of the furniture, and you can't face through the furniture because you're not a ghost. So, you're like that.
What's your favorite ghosty ghost?
Probably either the very first ones you meet, or probably also the grabby ones.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the grabby ones. They're so insufferable, but they're so charismatic. I don't know.
Well, they like sneak up on you, and it's fun to like get on top of them instead.
Oh, Boolossus can eat a brick.
Yeah. Which one's the hardest boss ghost?
Boolossus. The freaking Bowser thing confused me. Like, some people were like, "Oh, Bowser had died," and Boo possessed his body and stuff. And I was like, wait, I thought it was just a suit because the head pops off.
I don't. It could be a corpse. I mean, it just depends how much your imagination you want to go. Like, they're just actual paintings, but then to other people like us, we thought they were real people, and then they die. But I don't really. Oh gosh, I don't really know the starving artist of Vincent Van Gogh.
But yeah, I guess that would sum up. I mean, to me, the best way to describe Luigi's Mansion is unique, different.
Short, but tons of secrets.
Yeah, it's...
You're probably not going to get all the secrets at first.
I would almost say it's the Majora's Mask of the Mario series. It's very different from the others, but it's packed with a lot of stuff.
My biggest problem was, at the beginning, the big button, the A button, is you screaming for Mario.
Yeah, because we hadn't played, we never played many Zelda games, so I don't even know if we had to have played Wind Waker by then, but because Wind Waker was our first Zelda game, and but yeah, I mean, Zelda and it were the ones that threw us off because you couldn't jump. But if the first game was unique, I would say the second game is not. This is where it gets interesting because my sister likes the game. I don't know how much you like it.
I like the first one better, but I can see why they changed it up the way they did. I'm kind of disappointed that you're not even living in the mansion anymore.
Yeah,
the mansion did some reason did not get deteriorized.
Yeah, I hate this game. I hate's a strong word. I very much dislike it.
It's very, or the first one was very, it's you going through it. The second one's very like
hand-holdy,
cutscene driven, and because it was on the handheld, which I'm not a big fan of handheld games to begin with, but because it's on the handheld, I felt like they're like, oh, we have to cut it short, because the only way to stop in the first game, you had to save at the Toad Zone place, which some reason Peach sent Toads to, I guess, save Mario. In the second game, the Toads are Egad's assistants.
Yeah.
And they don't have the save spot anymore, so there's no way, if you need to stop the game, there's no way, so I know why they had to make it into smaller sections, because that's the only way to save it.
What baffles me, though, is each section's like 20 minutes long, which, I mean, I can understand if you're on like a 20-minute, train ride or bus ride or car ride or something, and you don't get motion sick like I do. I could see it being helpful in that regard, but it's like, for the most part, I actually, usually if I'm going to play a handheld game, it's like if I'm in a waiting room or something, and I don't need to wait 20 minutes for wherever I'm waiting at. The only exceptions was when I was in college and there were 2 classes and I had like 30 minutes to kill between classes or something, but oh man, I hate oh man.
There's a lot more. I know we didn't really touch on the atmosphere in the first one.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more noises, I guess you could say, in the second one. There's like, you hear a Luigi grunt a lot more, and there's a lot more music than just the one song. I think there's probably maybe 2 songs in the first game, not counting that weird credit song.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's usually dark, quiet, and the music is very low. And sometimes you only hear Luigi whistle.
Yeah.
In the second one, you hear Luigi grunt, moan, complain.
Sound effects
and just basically noises.
I feel so bad because while the music is iconic in the second game, like you hear it and you're like, oh, that's a Luigi's Mansion song. At the same time, I don't think any of them ever held up to the one tune that the first game had. My biggest problem with the game is easily summed up with the breaks. It's like, because they are set up in sections, they have to sit there and it feels like the game is just padded out. And when the game feels padded out, I end up really not liking it. Because it's like, you go to a place, which by the by, it's not even just one mansion. It's like a crud ton of houses. They're not even all mansions. There's like one that's a cabin. One's like a freaking botanist laboratory or something like that. But the thing that just irks me is you'll feel like you're finally progressing in some way, shape, or form. Like, say you need to find a key so that way you can get through this area or something, but the key is actually this, like a pinwheel thing. And it's like, yay, I found the pinwheel. There's a piece missing. Oh no, I need to go and find it. So you find it, and before you finally go through the door, ghosts take all the pieces, and then you immediately get teleported out, and you're stuck listening or reading Egad's dialogue for 2 minutes or 2 to 5 minutes of him going, oh, that sure sucks, guess you're gonna have to go and find all the pieces now. And then you find all the pieces, and he's like, good job, Luigi, come back anyways, because we're done with that section. Then third section, there's a dog that isn't even as good as the dog in the first game. Doesn't even have ears. I don't care if that's realistic. And then fourth mission is usually finding where the boss is, and then the fifth mission is finally taking on the boss or something like that. And it's so repetitive, and I hate it.
Oh yeah, the Flash.
Oh yeah, that I will admit. I'll always give the second game a lot of crap, but I do like some of the mechanics with the flashlight. I like the whatever it's called.
The strobe.
Yeah, I like the strobe light to discover things. I like that you can charge the light so that way you can get a super stun, basically. I especially like the meter and how you can upgrade that. I mean, there's things that are good in it, but oh my god, everything else about it is just insufferable. I can't.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing is that it's very...
Luigi's an idiot in this game.
It's very, what's it called? Cinematic? I mean, in the first game, you're fairly rarely were you introduced even to the portrait ghosts. Like, the portrait ghosts didn't even get, like, cutscenes. But the regular baddies that you face in Luigi's Mansion, they all get cutscenes to introduce them. And that was, and then basically, it feels like there's a cutscene every... there's a lot more cutscenes. Like, instead of just like usually you get a cutscene in the boss battle, but now it's like, oh, you found a thing. Oh, you do this. Oh, you found another thing. Yay, cutscenes. You can't screw in a light bulb. Yay. I mean, it's also weird because everybody was first, you know, it's like this is before the new 3DS. There's no other analog stick.
Yeah.
How do we control it and such?
I mean, some people did use the get those adapters.
Yeah, from
whatever they called them.
Kid Icarus.
Yeah. Which is fine. I actually, I didn't mind the gyroscope. I should be kinder about that. I didn't mind the gyroscope either. Or, is it gyroscope?
No,
I don't know if that was the word.
I don't think the only time you had to use the gyroscope was when you're like looking through a hole in the wall or something.
Well, yeah, but you could also use it if you wanted Luigi to aim up and down. I mean, it was intuitive. I mean, it's like, I feel like for every good thing this game did, there's like one really frustrating thing they also did, which is just what keeps me from enjoying it, which is mainly the gameplay. The gameplay is not very fun at times. Like, I'm fine if I just wasn't interrupted every time I felt like I was going somewhere, finally getting on with it. And none of the places hold the same kind of atmosphere or, like, I guess, effect as the one mansion in Luigi's Mansion. I also can't stand how all these ghosts, none of them are, they're all generic ghost designs. I know that they were supposed to be paintings technically in the first game, but I don't know, something about them seemed more interesting. Didn't we go through like the same boss ghost like 3 times with the big brain who just possessed something random?
Well, he was a boss ghost along with the actual boss ghost, which was the big white snake looking one who just possessed like everyday objects, and then you had to knock him out of it. It's not very, it's a lot longer, and while there are secrets, it's not like, to me they're not fun little secrets, because collecting them is to upgrade your stuff. That's what the money collectibles are, instead of upgrading your, at the end where you get judged like, oh, how well you did, your overall game experience. Mm-hmm. It's to upgrade your items. Well, if you're very like good at upgrading, you might be done before like the last 2 mansions.
Or if you're like me and just want to get on with it, you'll probably do a terrible job with upgrading because you didn't collect enough stuff or you didn't do well enough.
And some reason this game, it's not, to me anyways, it's not something I would want to just, after I'm done with it, go back to it. Like, if I discover new things or something.
I feel like...
And I don't really like how the elements for change in this game.
Oh, yeah, you have to carry them instead of just having them.
You actually have to get a bucket filled with water, so that way you can, I think, put out a fire or something.
Yeah.
You have to... you have to carry a log and light that on fire and then carry it.
To melt ice and stuff.
To get spider webs or whatever. I mean, it makes more sense, and it was for more puzzle solving, because I don't think the first game was really a puzzle solver. The only really puzzle you had to figure out was like, oh, how do I make each portrait ghost like appear himself so I can hit them.
I mean, the biggest thing to me is, I know a lot of people like to criticize Nintendo and saying, oh, you make a formula out of everything and then you just repeat yourselves and make the same game 15 times. Well, I usually would most likely, and always still probably to this day, disagree to some degree. I don't feel like it's that bad. Like, I don't feel, nowhere near as bad as, say, like Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty can be at times. It's not that repetitive, but I will say, Luigi's Mansion, this New Moon, literally said, okay, so we have our first game that we, like, Nintendo's like, we had the first game we made, so now we want next level games. Do it again, only strip it of its charm. And that's pretty much what we got, and that's why it bothers me so much. Because for everything I loved in the first game, ended up being taken out for the second game. And vice versa. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that the gameplay was great. Sometimes the controls really work, like, difficult to figure out in the first game. So I feel like gameplay-wise, they might have worked things a little bit better in the sequel, or at least made it different. But for the main story, it just was... I don't know. I mean, if you like comedy, it has a lot of comedy. It has a lot of, like...
I really enjoyed the charm that they did add to it. Even though there is a lot of cutscenes, I enjoyed it. It's kind of like one of those things where, like in the past, that's all I would play video games for, was just to see the next cutscene. So I really like how the cutscene's done, and it did kind of motivate me to keep wanting to go. And I don't know, because I'm not very good with puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the puzzles I had to look up a guide to figure out, because I was like, oh, I didn't know I could suck that. I didn't know that could be used that way. And I'm not saying that the game should flat out tell me. I don't know if the game should flat out tell me these things, and I should figure out my own, kind of like with the cheese or the speedy spirits in the first one. But those were supposedly nice. The speedy spirits and the cheese were nice secrets. Same with like having a secret ghost or something. They were nice surprises. It's like, oh, I get a reward for exploring. I needed to solve this puzzle so you can continue. Aw, the toads.
Yeah, the toads.
The toads are the only one that like Luigi.
Yeah, that's also the other thing that kind of miffs me. It's like, in the first game, Egad, to me, wasn't that bad of a guy. He was a little eccentric, but he made it his life goal to sit there and study these ghosts, because it was insinuated that that was his house. Originally, wasn't it, in the first game?
No.
That wasn't...
What, the mansion?
No, he was in his house, but a mansion appeared suddenly.
He basically went there. This mansion came out of nowhere, and Mario went in and
never came out.
And so...
Well, Egad said he owned those paintings, didn't he? Said
his paintings got... It was kind of confusing in the first game, because I guess somehow... Oh, baby. Well, I guess somehow, Boo freed them. Freed the ghost... Got the ghost out of their paintings, because these are the ghosts that Egad has caught throughout his life. Yeah. And in this game, he's just... In this Dark Moon... There's friendly ghosts, and he's basically friends with all the ghosts, and they're kind of also his assistants.
Yeah, but he treats his help like garbage.
Yeah.
He's like,
he doesn't care about the toads.
Whatever. Luigi wasn't even his first choice, which doesn't even make sense. Like, dude, he's the one that saved the day last time. Why wouldn't you go to him first? Why would you go to Mario first? And I guess, spoiler, they even ripped that off from the first game. They're like, oh, we could have come up with an interesting new enemy, or new, what's Luigi after, and it can't just be happy dappy, oh, I want to make the world a better place. It's like, no, his brother's been captured again.
Yeah, it's like, it almost feels like it was just a last thought thing, because you don't even... In the first game, it was automatically, that's what you're planning on doing. In the second game, they kind of made it like they try to make it like a big, grander deal, because...
Not only are you saving people, but Mario's been captured!
Yeah. Well, the Dark Moon made the friendly ghosts go AWOL, and Boo broke the Dark Moon crystals, and that's what you're trying to collect. So basically all the ghosts that you're capturing, which you keep in a capsule at Egad's place, they were all nice ghosts. It's just, I don't understand the dog. Why isn't the dog like... I know he's mischievous like the other ghosts are, but he's the only one that doesn't attack you.
Oh, I forgot how creepy he is when he gets his pupils back.
Yeah, that's the only way to tell if they're good. If they have their pupils, they're good. Which they only had that at the beginning and the end.
Yeah, I just...
Which, I'm like...
Mario's... Thanks, Luigi, you're number one. Me? Oh, thanks, Mario. Like, Mario says, like, just random stuff he would say to pretty much, like, kids at Nintendo World. Like, he's just like, you're number one. But Luigi really takes it to heart. I mean, at the end of the day...
Poor baby doesn't even understand.
At the end of the day, I would pretty much sum up the two as Luigi's Mansion was this creative decision that was... it probably wasn't even a Mario game to begin with. They just decided to make it a Luigi game, and it ended up surprisingly working well. So then when Nintendo's all like, okay, it's been like 10 years, let's try making it again, or making a new one.
Because it was originally supposed to be for the 3D. It was supposed to be 3D.
I mean, I can see why they did it. I find it funny that their attitude towards Luigi and towards storytelling, it's like, I feel like Nintendo is usually at their best when they really are trying to experiment or push their boundaries for what they haven't done before. Because otherwise, yeah, all they end up doing is just usually the same. Like, they'll kind of just find a formula. I mean, that's why I like the Zelda series more than the Mario series, because I'm not going to sit there and pretend that the Mario series ever does anything new when it comes to its story. It's pretty much usually... And when it does try something new, I guess not all Nintendo people like that they tried something new with it. But that about sums up my feelings on Luigi's Mansion. I mean, it's hard for me to, like... I really don't like using the word hate, and I don't think I could bring myself to say I hate Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I will say I definitely cannot stand that one ice boss fight, because that's dumb. That was bad game design. Yeah. That was just straight up bad game design.
It was kind of like, it was almost as frustrating as Blue Losses, except for you would have to start all the way at the beginning. Like, yeah, say you miss like one of those ghosts freezing those boobs once, and then you had to start catching all 50 again. Yeah. Like, they would come out of your vacuum for some reason.
Yeah, but imagine it only happens after a little bit. Because I wouldn't have minded so much if it was a simple, I missed, so now I have to start it over. Yeah. It's like, you missed...
You overheated.
Yeah, you missed once, you're pretty much done. I don't even think you can win that boss fight if you miss even once. And what's worse is it's not even just a simple, you missed once, start over. It's a, you missed once, and now you have to wait till you overheat, or just try desperately to win because you're gonna overheat, and probably gonna fail, and then have to do it all. It's so bad. It's so bad. But at the end of the day, I would say that it might be your thing if you're into handheld games, and you're into games that kind of feel a little patty, but it does have a good sense of humor, and the animation is really good in this game. I will admit, I've gotten a little frustrated, though, walking into a room, like, I don't think he did this in the first game, but you walk into a new room, and then a ghost would show up, Luigi would fall on his butt, and just be like, ah! And I'm sitting there thinking, that is literally seconds of my time wasted watching you fall every time I go into a new room. I mean, I know he's supposed to be a bit of a coward, or just not even a coward, he's just scared, which makes sense. Ghosts, they're scary, but that was about my problems and nitpicks, but I still love the game series. I don't know if I'd ever want a sequel, though. Another one, I mean.
I wouldn't mind one, but I don't. I don't know where else they can go or what they can do with the series. I like the charm of both games. I feel like it's like one of those things where it's its own game. We can't really compare it to the original, which is very hard to do when it's clearly, because the original is called Luigi's Mansion 2.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard not to compare it. But that's how it just is with Dark Moon. It's its own game. Even though it shares the same series names, and it has like the Poltergust?
Oh, the Poltergust?
Yeah,
Poltergust.
Poltergust. It has similarities to tell you that, yeah, this is still Luigi's Mansion, but it still changes it up quite a bit, where it's like, yeah, it's kind of its own thing. I don't know, because of the lengthwise, I feel like it's just a lot easier for me to pick up the first game than the second game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny too because it's not even like after you beat the game, you're supposed to just go back and get those. I think each level has like a big diamond or something in them or something. And that's supposed to be a replay, and it'll run all those cutscenes again. It'll basically act like, oh, this is your first time playing this level again, which can be a little upsetting.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I know, I missed one spot. I didn't know I was going to end the level if I picked up that one gear or whatever.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go back and explore. I'm sorry. So, seeing the cutscenes again, even though you can skip them, it's kind of like, it's good if you haven't played for a while. It's bad if you just want to go back to, just to get that quick, item that you missed.
Yeah. I kind of wish this game had like a new play or new file plus or whatever it is called. What they usually, where it's like you're playing it again, but their dialogue's different or scenarios are slightly different. I feel like if it had that, it might have made up for its simpleness, because the first game, you want to go back and replay because you want to experience it again, and you want to maybe discover some like Easter eggs or story plot stuff that you missed the first time, or even heck, just ghosts you missed the first time. This game doesn't really have that going for it.
I mean, it has some scares, like the bear rug.
Yeah.
The one thing I can say is that I really like the multiplayer.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
And I like it that you didn't have to have a game. You both could play, and it's the full experience of it.
Yeah, because I mean, that's how I actually played this game. My sister lent me her copy, and the trade-off was I lent her Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, which is not something we should go into. But let's just say neither one of us had a really good time playing the other's game. But I mean, different strokes for different folks. It's yeah. I mean, it's Luigi's Mansion. There's not another like it, I suppose.
No, it has a lot of charm and, I guess a lot of heart, too, for the, just settings, something we would never expect coming from the series.
Yeah. I mean, maybe make a sequel, but maybe if you do make a sequel, Nintendo, change it up maybe slightly, and definitely put it on the Wii U, or the NX, whatever that is. I'm not a big fan of Luigi on the handheld. That about would be my final statement on the series. But yeah, that's our thoughts on Luigi's Mansion, and I guess that concludes Quick Draw for this day of the week, or whatever, whenever you're watching this. Thanks for watching, everybody. And thanks to my sister for joining me.
No problem.
While you're here, you can subscribe, you can like, you can do all the things that people always tell you can do. But, you know, whether you do it, it's up to you. I ain't gonna judge. I probably am gonna have a couple of videos up, though, for you to check out. I posted, I believe 2 weeks ago, top 10 intros to video games. I don't think Luigi's Mansion made it on that list, but
No.
it's still worth watching, I would say. And then I also have a video on Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, which my sister helped out recording the footage on that game. That game is not
Speed.
That game is not fun by yourself.
I had the superpower of speed.
Yep.
You could tell.
Because she would die.
Faster.
So, anyways, check those out. And thanks for watching. And I guess until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Stay fresh.
You stink.